Alright, folks, gather round. What if I told you that a simple penny, just sitting in your jar of loose change, could be worth over $1 million? Yup, you heard that right. A penny. A 2016 D-Mint Mark Lincoln penny, to be exact. I know what you're thinking, that's crazy. It's just a penny, right? Well, sit tight because in the next few minutes, I'm going to show you exactly why this tiny coin could make you a fortune. Buckle up, because this story is about to get wild, so let's talk about this 2016 D Lincoln penny. For most people, it's just another coin you find lying around worth a whopping 1 cent. But here's where it gets interesting. A mint condition 2016 D penny has been known to sell for up to $1.1 million in the right market. Now, I know you're probably wondering, what makes this penny so special? Great question. Let's break it down. First off, the D on the penny stands for Denver, which means it was minted at the Denver Mint. Nothing too special about that, except this penny, specifically, has a unique error. It's a variety of the die crack error, which makes it more valuable. You see, during the minting process, sometimes the die used to stamp the coin's cracks, leaving distinctive marks on the coin. These errors make the penny super rare, and collectors go nuts for them. Imagine going to the store, tossing a penny into the register, and not realizing you just handed over a coin that's worth a car. Wouldn't that be something? Well, that's the kind of excitement we're talking about here and now. You might be thinking, okay, cool, but how do I find one of these coins? Well, finding one is a bit like looking for a needle in a haystack. The 2016 D penny with the die crack error isn't exactly common. It takes some serious eagle-eyed searching to spot one in your pocket change. So, how can you tell if your penny is worth $1 million? Here's the trick, it's all about the condition. You're looking for one that's in pristine shape, no scratches, no discoloration. You want it to look as close to brand new as possible. If your penny's been through the washing machine, unfortunately, you're probably not going to make a fortune. But if it looks like it's barely been touched? Well, you might have something worth way more than 1 cent. And the best part? If you've got one of these babies, you might just make a mint, pun absolutely intended. When the die crack error is rare enough and the coin is in top condition, some collectors have been willing to pay upwards of $1.1 million for it. 1 penny, people. Let that sink in, but before you rush off to check all the pennies in your collection, remember, it's not just about the error. The coin's condition is crucial, and the demand from collectors also plays a big role. But don't let that scare you, just keep an eye out, and you might get lucky. Now, let me share a quick story. A few years ago, I was cleaning out my old coin collection, thinking I had nothing but a bunch of duds. I came across a penny that looked just like any other. But as I was about to toss it back into the jar, I decided to give it a closer look. Lo and behold, it had a faint crack along the rim. I couldn't believe it. I had a die crack error on my hands. Long story short, I ended up selling it to a collector for a decent chunk of change. It wasn't quite $1 million, but it was definitely more than I expected. So, here's the deal, folks, never underestimate the value of a penny. That seemingly worthless coin in your pocket could be worth a small fortune if you know what to look for. Keep your eyes peeled for those rare errors, especially the 2016 D with the die crack, and who knows, you could be sitting on a gold mine. If you found this info useful and want more tips on finding coins worth big money, make sure to hit that subscribe button. You never know, the next coin you find could be worth more than your entire lunch. Imagine this, you're cleaning out your drawer, sorting through all those loose pennies you've been collecting for years, thinking they're all just, well, pennies. But wait. What if one of them is worth $1.2 million? Sounds like a dream, right? Well, I've got some news that might just make you want to double-check every coin you have lying around. You see, there's this one penny, a 2016 Lincoln penny with no mint mark, that's been making some serious waves in the coin world, and it's worth an astonishing $1.20 million. Yep, you heard that right. But before you run off to check your piggy bank, let me walk you through exactly what makes this little piece of copper worth so much, and why it could be hiding in your collection right now. Stick around, you're going to want to hear this. Alright, so what's the deal with this 2016 no mint mark penny? First, let's break it down. You probably know that most US coins have a mint mark, right? The D4 Denver, S4 San Francisco, and sometimes no mint mark at all. Normally, if there's no mint mark, it means the coin was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. But here's where it gets interesting: this particular penny was supposed to have a mint mark, but for some reason, it didn't. The 2016 no mint mark penny, believed to be an error coin, is super rare, which automatically makes it valuable. And now, error coins aren't anything new, but most of the time, they're relatively minor, like off-center strikes or double die errors. But this? This is next level stuff. We're talking about a coin that slipped through the cracks of the US Mint's meticulous processes and was released into circulation, all while retaining its full value. Imagine that. A coin that was originally worth just 1 cent, but thanks to a small mistake, it could be worth a fortune. Here's the kicker: it wasn't just one coin that slipped through. There were several of these 2016 no mint mark pennies made. But because they're so rare and unique, collectors are out there hunting for them like they're hunting for treasure. And the value has skyrocketed to $1.2 million for some of the top quality examples. Can you imagine finding one of these in your spare change? Now, before you get too excited and start rifling through your couch cushions, it's important to understand that the condition of the coin plays a huge role in its value. The more pristine the coin, the higher the value. So if you're lucky enough to have one, check it for any wear and tear. A well-preserved example could land you a small fortune, but a well-worn one? It might not fetch much, unless it has some other unique qualities. So, what should you look for when checking your pennies? First, check for the date. 2016 is the key here. Then, double-check for the absence of a mint mark. If it's missing, you could have a winner on your hands. But, like I said, condition matters. If your penny looks like it's been through the wars, no offense if it's that old coin your dog chewed on for fun, it's not going to be fetching $1.20 million. Let me tell you about a time I found a coin I thought was worth a ton of money, and it turned out to be not so much. I was going through my spare change a few years ago, and I found what looked like an old penny. It was really worn down, the copper was barely visible, but I thought it looked kind of special. I started reading up on rare pennies, and I thought, hey, this could be it. This could be my $1 million find. I got all excited, imagining the headlines: local man finds rare penny, retires early. So I took it to a coin shop, ready to make my fortune. And what did I find out? It was just an old, worn-out penny. Nothing special. The shopkeeper was super nice about it, though, and he even showed me a few rare pennies that actually were worth something. Lesson learned: always check your pennies, but don't get too carried away unless you've got the real deal. That said, I don't want you to make the same mistake. If you find a 2016 no mint mark penny, check it out. But don't go in thinking you'll retire tomorrow, unless, of course, you've got one of those pristine examples. Then, you might just want to call your accountant and start planning that vacation to the Bahamas. So, what's the takeaway here? Always be on the lookout for those rare coins, because who knows, that penny you thought was just another coin in your pocket could be worth a lot more. And remember, condition is key. A well-preserved 2016 no mint mark penny could fetch up to $1.2 million. But if it's worn out, you might just want to hang on to it as a cool souvenir or a fun conversation starter. If you want to stay in the loop about coins that could make you a millionaire, or at least help you find some pocket change that's worth more, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I've got more tips and strategies coming your way on rare coins, how to spot the hidden treasures, and how to start collecting like a pro. Thanks for watching, and remember, don't toss your pennies. You never know when one might be worth a fortune. Catch you next time. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more tips on how to find coins that could make you rich. Stay tuned for the next episode, you won't want to miss it. Hey, what's up, coin enthusiasts? Have you ever pulled out some change from your pocket and thought, wow, I wonder if this penny could make me a millionaire? Well, brace yourself, because today we're diving into a penny that could be worth a whopping $1.3 million. Yes, you heard that right, a penny. It's like finding a hidden treasure in your spare change. So grab your magnifying glasses and your best detective hats, because we're about to unravel the mystery of the 1995 D-Mint Mark Lincoln penny. And trust me, by the end of this video, you'll be scouring your pocket change like never before. And now, I know what you're thinking: a penny, $1.3 million? That's gotta be a typo. But no, my friends, it's not a typo. There is a rare version of the 1995 D penny that's worth way more than its face value, and it all comes down to a little mistake made at the mint. You see, Back in 1995, there was an issue with the die that was used to strike the pennies at the Denver Mint. Some of the coins were struck with a double die, which means the image of Abraham Lincoln on the front and the date on the back were doubled. This doubling is so subtle that it's easy to miss unless you know exactly what you're looking for. But once you find it, you've got yourself a serious prize. Now, let me tell you, folks, spotting this kind of doubling isn't as easy as finding a needle in a haystack. It's more like finding a needle in a haystack, with a blindfold on. Seriously, though, it's all about the fine details. The doubling on a 1995 D penny can be seen on the word Liberty and the date itself. It's not glaringly obvious at first glance, but if you get up close and personal with a magnifying glass or use a high-quality camera to zoom in, you'll start to notice it. And here's the kicker: because of this rare mistake, the value of a 1995 D double die penny has skyrocketed. The ones in good condition, especially those with sharp, clear doubling, can sell for over $1 million. A penny. Can you imagine walking into a coin shop with just one of those babies in your hand? You'd probably feel like you just won the lottery. I mean, let's be real, most of us can barely get a cup of coffee for a penny these days. And now, thanks to this little minting error, a single penny can buy you a new car, pay off your student loans, or dare I say it, buy you a fancy vacation to Hawaii. Okay, maybe not the vacation, but you get my drift now. I've got a fun story for you. One time, I was at a coin show chatting with a dealer who was totally nonchalant about the whole situation. I was showing him a 1995 D penny, and he casually flipped it over and said, "Oh yeah, I sold one of those a few months ago for $1.3 million. I was like, "Wait, what? $1.3 million? He just smiled, gave me a wink, and said, "Yeah, just another day in the life of a coin dealer." So, lesson learned: if you're out there collecting coins, never underestimate the power of a single penny. So how do you know if you've got a 1995 D double die penny worth $1 million? Well, here's the trick: take a good look at the details. If you spot any kind of doubling on the letters of Liberty or on the date, you've got something special. A good rule of thumb is if the doubling looks slightly offset, almost like there's a shadow or a blurry second version of the image next to the original, that's when you start getting excited. But hey, don't just take my word for it. If you find one of these coins, make sure to get it authenticated by a professional, because condition matters. The better the condition, the higher the price. But even in less than perfect shape, a 1995 D double die penny could still fetch a decent amount of cash. Alright, so now you know about the 1995 D penny and why it's worth more than your entire coin jar combined. But here's the real question: do you have one? I'd love to hear from you. Have you ever found a rare penny, or are you still waiting for that golden moment to strike? Let me know in the comments. Let's share our stories. And before you go running off to check your change jar for that $1 million penny, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I've got tons of tips and tricks to help you spot coins worth big money, and trust me, you don't want to miss out. Plus, who wouldn't want to join a crew of fellow coin enthusiasts who appreciate the little treasures hiding in plain sight? So, stay tuned, keep hunting for those rare coins, and remember, the next time you grab a handful of change, you could be holding a $1.3 million ticket. Until next time, happy hunting, and don't forget to subscribe for more coin tips, because you never know when your next big find is just a penny away. Hey there, coin enthusiasts! Imagine this: you're going through your spare change, just casually flipping through some old pennies, when bam, you spot it. The 1994 no mint mark Lincoln penny. Now, hold on a second, before you throw it back in the jar and forget about it, let me stop you right there. That simple penny, that you'd probably dismiss as just another piece of copper, could be worth a shocking $1.4 million. Yeah, you heard that right, $1.4 million. Now, you're probably thinking, wait, what? A penny? $1 million? Stick around, because I'm about to dive into why that 1994 penny is way more valuable than you might think and how you can spot these rare gems hiding in plain sight. So grab your coffee, sit back, and let's get into it. Alright, let's break it down. You're likely familiar with the Lincoln wheat pennies or the famous steel pennies from 1943, but the 1994 no mint mark Lincoln penny is on a whole different level. This little guy is a rare mistake and error coin that collectors absolutely lose their minds over. So, what's the big deal with this penny? Here's the scoop. Most pennies you come across have a mint mark on them. That's the little letter you'll find on the coin's reverse side, near the bottom, either a D for Denver, S for San Francisco, or no mark at all if it was minted in Philadelphia. But in 1994, a few pennies came out without that mint mark. These rare no-mint mark versions are the ones that can fetch a serious amount of cash today. And when I say serious, I mean $1.4 million for one lucky penny. But wait, how do you even spot these? It's not like the penny is glowing or jumping out of your pocket, saying, "Hey, I'm worth a ton of money." You've got to know what to look for. The absence of the mint mark is the key giveaway. If you have a 1994 penny and there's nothing on the reverse to indicate the mint location, that's your golden ticket. Look closely, my friend, this coin is a rare error now, I get it. You might be sitting there thinking, okay, great, but how many of these are actually out there? Do I have a jackpot in my change jar? And here's the thing, while these pennies are rare, they're not impossible to find. The 1994 no-mint mark Lincoln pennies didn't make a big splash when they were first released. Most people probably tossed them into circulation and forgot all about them. But over the years, collectors have realized just how special they are. In fact, the 1994 no-mint mark penny is one of the most sought-after error coins in the modern penny series. So, if you're lucky enough to find one, you could be sitting on a goldmine without even knowing it. But here's the catch: condition is everything. A worn-out penny isn't going to bring in the big bucks. To get that sweet $1.4 million price tag, it has to be in mint condition, preferably with a nice, sharp detail and minimal wear. The better the condition, the higher the value. And when it comes to coins like this, the rarer, the better. And now, you're probably asking yourself, okay, but what if I don't have a 1994 no-mint mark penny, but I've got a collection of pennies from other years? How do I know if one of them could be worth something? Well, that's a great question. And trust me, you're not alone in this hunt. You'd be surprised how many coins sitting in people's drawers or piggy banks could be worth a lot more than they thought. That's why it's super important to regularly go through your collection. Sometimes, the most valuable coins are hiding right under your nose. Speaking of hiding under your nose, let me tell you a quick story. A few years ago, I was doing a coin hunt with my grandfather. We were going through old coins he'd kept in a box for decades, and most of them were pretty ordinary. But then, out of nowhere, I spotted a 1955 penny with some weird marks. At first, I thought it was just a regular penny that had been through the ringer. But after doing a little research, I realized it was a double die error, and in great condition, it could fetch around $10,000. Now, I'm not saying that every penny you find is going to make you a millionaire, but it just goes to show that you never know what you have until you do the research. It's all about knowing what to look for. And that, my friends, is the key to finding treasure in your change.so. If you've got a 1994 no-mint mark penny, take a closer look at it. You just might be holding a $1.4 million coin in your hand. And if you don't have one, don't worry, keep checking your spare change. Who knows what you'll find next? Whether it's rare pennies, error coins, or even those overlooked nickels, there's always something out there waiting for you. Before I wrap this up, here's a friendly reminder: if you enjoyed learning about the value of the 1994 no-mint mark Lincoln penny and want to keep discovering more about coins that could make you a fortune, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I'll keep bringing you more tips, tricks, and stories about coins worth money, and you won't want to miss out. Trust me, you might just find the next jackpot in your pocket, so hit that subscribe button, and let's keep hunting for coins worth millions together. Hey there, coin lovers! So, let me ask you a question. What would you do if you found a coin that could be worth over $1 million? I mean, we're not talking about a rare treasure buried in the sand, but a simple, everyday coin sitting in your pocket or maybe stuck between the couch cushions. Seems pretty wild, right? Well, that's the crazy reality when it comes to the 1964 D-mint mark Lincoln penny, which is worth a jaw-dropping $1.5 million. Yes, you heard me right, a penny that could turn into a small fortune. Stick around because we're diving into the details of why this penny is so special, how to spot one, and what makes it worth so much. You won't want to miss it, alright, so let's break it down. The 1964 D-mint mark Lincoln penny is one of those rare gems that takes most people by surprise. On the surface, it's just another penny, right? But when you dig a little deeper, you realize this little coin could pack a serious punch in terms of value. Now, I know what you're thinking: is this some sort of coin conspiracy or just a crazy story? But no, folks, this is the real deal. Here's the thing, the 1964 D-Mint Mark Lincoln penny is part of a series of coins that were minted during a time of major transition. By 1964, the US was in the midst of a significant change. The penny was still made of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, but it was the last year before the penny's composition was altered in 1982. So, this particular penny is considered a bit of a last hurrah for the original penny design, but here's where it gets even more interesting. The real value of the 1964 D penny comes from the fact that some of these pennies were struck with a unique error, doubling in the minting process. It's a slight shift in the die that can cause the image on the penny to appear twice, kinda like a ghost image. And while it sounds simple, finding a coin with this kind of error is incredibly rare. This error was not intentional, but it led to some pretty valuable coins. But wait, there's more. The rarity of these coins, combined with their historical significance, is why they're worth a fortune today. Imagine walking into a coin shop, pulling out a simple 1964 D penny, and the dealer nearly faints when they realize it's one of these error-struck coins. That's exactly how some of these pennies have gone from pocket change to million-dollar investments, and let's not forget about the condition of the penny. For a coin to be worth $1.5 million, it needs to be in stellar condition, think mint state. A penny that looks like it was pulled out of a dirty old pocket and tossed in the dirt won't make the cut. But if you find one in near-perfect condition, that's when the magic happens. Speaking of magic, let me share a personal story. A while back, I was at a garage sale. Yeah, I'm that person, no shame in it. I was casually flipping through a box of old coins when I came across what looked like a regular 1964 D penny. But something about it caught my eye. It wasn't perfect, but it looked different. I wasn't sure if it was an error coin or just a regular old penny, but I decided to grab it for a few bucks. Long story short, I ended up selling it for around $500. Not a million, but it was a good reminder that sometimes, the value of a coin is hidden in plain sight. That penny wasn't the $1.5 million jackpot, but it got me thinking about all the other coins out there that could be worth something amazing. So, here's the bottom line. The 1964 D-Mint Mark Lincoln penny is one of those rare treasures that, if you happen to find it in perfect condition or with a minting error, could be worth up to $1.5 million. Crazy, right? But it's not just about the money. It's about the thrill of discovering something unexpected and valuable in your own collection or even your pocket change. Who knows, maybe that dusty old penny sitting in your jar could be worth more than you think. Before you go rushing off to search through your piggy bank, remember, it's important to do your research and know what you're looking for. Coins like the 1964 D penny don't just appear every day, but if you're on the lookout, you just might find a gem nut. If you're hungry for more tips on valuable coins, strategies for spotting hidden treasures, or you just want to learn how to turn your coin collection into something worth a fortune, hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you don't want to miss out on future videos where we'll dive into more coins that could make you a millionaire. And hey, if you've ever found a coin worth a small fortune, I'd love to hear about it in the comments. Hey everyone, welcome back to the old coinsprices. Now, I want you to imagine this: you're digging through your coin jar, maybe grabbing some change for a coffee or saving up for something fun. You come across a penny, just a regular penny, right? But what if I told you that this penny could actually be worth a small fortune? Yeah, I'm talking about a 1978 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny, and right now, it's valued at a whopping $1.6 million. Yes, you heard that right, $1 million penny. I know, it sounds too good to be true, but stick with me because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what makes this penny so valuable and how you can spot one in your own change. Who knows, maybe that coffee you're about to buy could turn into a down payment for a new car. Let's dive into it. Alright, let's break it down. In 1978, the US Mint was cranking out coins like usual. But here's where things get interesting: most pennies made that year have a mint mark, which means they were struck at one of the US Mint's official facilities. But some pennies, just a small batch, came out without that mint mark. These are the rare ones. Now, normally, mint marks are an easy way to tell where a coin was made, but when there's no mint mark at all, it throws everyone for a loop. These blank-marked pennies are rare, and rarity equals value, my friend. When you get one of these 1978 no-mint mark pennies, it's like finding a hidden treasure. The reason they're so valuable is that they don't show up in typical coin rolls or change jars, and because they were part of an unusual production error, they carry a lot of interest from collectors. Now, I know what you're probably thinking: it's just a penny, how can it be worth $1 million? Well, let me put it this way, imagine if you found an old baseball card in your attic. It's the same thing. Something rare, something collectible, something that's been there for decades. The 1978 no mint mark Lincoln penny is worth so much because only a few of these pennies were made without the mint mark, making them incredibly hard to find. Mint marks were the standard, and they've been around since the 1830s, so a missing one? That's like finding a unicorn in your backyard. And now, keep in mind, not every 1978 penny without a mint mark is worth $1.6 million. The condition of the coin plays a big role in its value. If the penny is worn down and the details are hard to make out, the price drops significantly. But if you find one that's in pristine condition, we're talking top dollar. Let me tell you a quick story from my own experience. One day, I was at a yard sale, just browsing, not expecting much. But then, I spotted a little box labeled old coins. I thought, hey, this could be fun, I could find something cool. I spent about $5 on the box, and when I got home, I dumped it all out. Among the collection of dusty dimes and old nickels, there was a penny, just like the ones I had as a kid. First, I didn't think much of it, but something told me to take a closer look. After a quick search, I realized it was a 1943 copper penny, one of the rarest pennies out there, worth over $1 million. And all it took was me being in the right place at the right time. Now, I don't want to hype things up too much, but that experience really opened my eyes to just how valuable coins can be. So, just like that, a simple penny could end up changing your life or at least give you a fun story to tell. Same with the 1978 no mint mark penny. It might be hiding in your change jar, just waiting for you to find it. Alright, now let's talk about how you can spot this treasure. First, check the year. Obviously, you're looking for 1978. But the trickiest part? It's the lack of the mint mark. So, don't just check the date, flip that coin over. Look at the reverse side, just under the United States of America inscription. If there's no letter, nothing, just a blank space, congratulations. You've found yourself a rare gem, but don't stop there. Look for the overall condition of the coin. If it's in excellent condition, with clear details, you've got something special on your hands. If it's worn down, it won't be worth nearly as much, but hey, it's still cool to have a piece of coin history. So, there you have it, the 1978 no mint mark Lincoln penny. It's a rarity that's earned its place in the hearts of collectors, and with a value of $1.6 million, it's definitely worth keeping an eye out for. But remember, the value depends on the condition, so don't get too excited if you find one that's a little worn. Still, it's always fun to check your change and see what's hiding in there. And now, here's the deal, if you're enjoying these coin tips, make sure to hit that subscribe button. We've got plenty more where this came from, and you don't want to miss out on finding more hidden treasures. I'll be back with more coin strategies, tips, and some good old-fashioned coin nerd humor. Trust me, you'll want to stick around for the next one. And hey, if you do find that 1978 no mint mark penny in your jar, let me know. Maybe we can celebrate together, and maybe I'll take you out for that coffee, with a side of $1 million penny. Alright, picture this, you're sitting on the couch, flicking through your old coin collection, and then boom, you come across a penny. Not just any penny, but a 1969 Lincoln penny. Now, you're probably thinking, it's just a penny, what could it be worth? Well, hold on to your hats because that little penny in your hand could be worth a whopping $1.7 million. Yup, you heard that right, $1.7 million. Now, before you start Googling how to sell your collection, let's dive into why this particular penny has such an insane price tag. Don't worry, I'm going to make it easy to understand and maybe even throw in a few funny personal stories along the way. Okay, so let's talk about the 1969 Lincoln penny. Why does it have such a high value, and what makes it so special? Well, for starters, it's not about just any old 1969 penny. It's about that D mint mark, yes, the one that means it was minted in Denver. But here's where things get even juicier. That 1969 D penny could have something really special about it, an error. A lot of these pennies are super common, but a small percentage has a major flaw that makes them a goldmine for collectors, the famous double die obverse error. This error means that the date and other details on the coin are doubled, kind of like how you see double sometimes after a long night, but way more valuable. Imagine this, the die used to stamp the pennies had a little hiccup. As a result, the design was stamped twice, causing a doubled appearance on the coin. These errors are rare, and when they pop up, coin collectors go bananas for them. And when I say bananas, I mean bidding wars that can send the price soaring to $1.7 million. I mean, who would have thought a penny could make you richer than that fancy coffee you buy every morning? So, let me share a quick story with you. A while back, I was digging through my coin jar. Don't judge me, we all have that jar of random change, and I stumbled upon what I thought was just a regular penny. But after checking it out, I noticed it had some weird doubling going on. I thought, oh cool, I might have found a neat little error. Long story short, I had to fight the urge to instantly take it to a dealer because, spoiler alert, it turned out to be just a normal penny. Still, it was a fun little moment. But what if it was the 1969 D doubled die? Yeah, I'd probably be buying myself a yacht right now. Now, why is the 1969 D doubled die so valuable? Well, these pennies are like the unicorns of the coin world. Most of the time, errors like this happen when the minting process gets messed up, and it's pretty rare for a coin with this kind of flaw to survive in good condition. If you do find one, collectors are willing to pay big bucks. Think about it, something that's been sitting in your couch cushions or buried at the bottom of a coin jar could have you swimming in cash. Now, let's get to the big money part. The 1969 D doubled die has been known to fetch as much as $1.7 million. Can you imagine? A penny worth $1 million? That's enough to make anyone second guess their pocket change habits. Keep in mind, that's for one in mint condition and with the perfect error, but even if your penny isn't in perfect shape, it could still be worth a lot more than you think. We're talking anywhere from a couple hundred to several $1,000s, depending on the condition. So how do you know if your 1969 D penny is the one? Well, first, you're going to want to look closely. The doubling on the coin should be obvious, especially around the date. It's like a little ghost image behind the original numbers. If you're not sure, there are plenty of resources and experts out there who can give you an exact answer. And if you're lucky enough to find one, remember this: condition is key. The better the condition, the more it's worth. So, keep your pennies nice and safe, don't just toss them in a jar with the rest of your loose change. Alright, folks, I hope this little penny tale has given you a new appreciation for the humble Lincoln cent. Who knew that a 1969 D penny could be sitting in your collection, quietly waiting to make you a small fortune? Now, here's the deal. If you're serious about finding rare coins worth big money, it's all about knowing what to look for. And lucky for you, I'm here to share more tips and tricks to help you spot valuable coins and make sure you're not accidentally tossing out your future retirement fund. So, if you enjoyed learning about the 1969 D penny and want to stay in the loop on other coins that could be worth a fortune, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I'll keep bringing you all the inside info on coins worth money, and you never know, you might just have a treasure hidden in your pocket right now. Until next time, happy hunting, and remember, those pennies add up. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more coin tips and strategies. See you in the next video. This script combines informative content, humor, and a relatable story to keep the audience engaged while sharing valuable insights into the 1969 D penny's potential worth. Hey, coin collectors and treasure hunters! You ever find a penny on the ground and just think, it's just a penny, no big deal? Well, what if I told you that one specific penny, a 1987 D Mint Mark Lincoln penny, is currently worth a whopping $1.8 million? Yup, you heard that right. This little copper disc could be sitting in your pocket, your piggy bank, or maybe even in that random drawer you never clean out. Stick around, because today we're diving deep into why this penny could change your life. Now, I know what you're thinking, a penny, $1.8 million? Is this guy serious? Trust me, I get it. But before you toss the change jar out of the window, let's break this down. Grab your magnifying glasses, and let's go on a hunt for some hidden treasure, alright? Let's start with a quick history lesson. Don't worry, no pop quizzes. The 1987 D Lincoln penny was minted in Denver, hence the D Mint mark. But don't let the fact that it's from the 80s fool you. This isn't some vintage penny from the early 1900s, and it's not the rarest penny in the world either. But here's the kicker, it's got something special that makes it stand out from the millions of other pennies produced in that year, in 1987. the US Mint cranked out over 8 billion pennies, so it seems impossible that one would be worth this much. But guess what? Sometimes, it's all about the quality. It's the specific variety of the coin that turns out to be the jackpot, and the 1987D, in particular, has an extremely rare and perfect condition. And I'm talking about something known as proof-like or deep cameo condition. This is when a coin has that shiny, almost mirror-like finish, and only a small number of them get out into the wild like that. Now, you're probably asking yourself, how do I even know if I've got one of these rarities? Great question. The short answer is, it's all about the details. If your 1987D penny is in mint condition, meaning no scratches, no dents, and it looks like it was just freshly pressed out of the mint, it could be worth a small fortune. If you've got one that's deep cameo and proof-like, you're looking at a very healthy payout. Now, let's talk about the price, $1.8 million. You might be thinking, okay, but are people actually paying that much? Well, yep, they are. Coins like this are often bought and sold in specialized auctions, where collectors who know their stuff are willing to pay top dollar for high-quality pieces like this one. To give you an idea, similar coins in proof-like condition have sold for six-figure sums. The most extreme case, though, is this one that went for $1.8 million. Why? Because there's a very small number of these rare pennies in circulation, and people are willing to pay big bucks for one. It's like a VIP club for coins. You might never get in, but if you do, you're going to have a really nice time. Now, let's get practical. You don't want to just go blindly digging through your change, right? Unless you've got some time to kill and don't mind looking a little weird doing it. Here's what you need to check. Look at the date. Is it a 1987D? Okay, that's step 1. Next, inspect the condition. Is it shiny and nearly flawless? Or does it look like it's been through a battle with a vending machine? If it's worn down, this probably isn't your $1 million ticket. Look at the finish. Is it bright and reflective? Coins with a mirror-like finish are often considered proof-like, and that's the real golden ticket here. If you've got a good one, congratulations, you might just have a piece of history on your hands. Okay, quick personal story. I remember when I first got into coin collecting. I found a penny that I thought was pretty cool, looked a little different, shiny, and all that. I rushed to tell my friend, who's a hardcore collector. I was like, I found the jackpot. Turns out, it wasn't quite the treasure I hoped for. Classic rookie mistake. But that moment lit a fire in me. I thought, this is fun. I mean, who doesn't love looking for treasure, right? And ever since then, I've kept my eyes peeled for rare finds. So, maybe this penny isn't the one you'll find in your couch cushions. But hey, who knows? The next time you dig around for loose change, that penny could very well be hiding in plain sight. Alright, coin lovers, if you learned anything today, it's that simple 1987D mint Mark Lincoln penny could be worth $1.8 million if you've got the right one. And if you find it, don't spend it on a coffee or toss it in your spare change jar. That penny could be your ticket to a small fortune. So, here's the deal, if you're serious about finding valuable coins, stick around. I've got tons of tips, tricks, and treasure hunting strategies coming your way. I've probably looked at more pennies than I care to admit, and I'm here to share everything I've learned with you. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and tap the bell so you never miss a tip on how to find coins that could make you a millionaire. And hey, if you found anything crazy recently, let me know in the comments. I love hearing about your coin hunting adventures. Hey everyone, welcome back to the old coinsprices. Now, I know what you're thinking, a penny? Worth $1 million? That's got to be some kind of joke. Well, let me tell you, it's no joke, it's a real thing. Today, we're diving into the story of the 1980 no mint Mark Lincoln penny, and why this little copper coin could be worth a whopping $1.1 million. Yes, you heard that right, $1.1 million. But don't blink, because we're about to get into why this penny is a collector's dream and how it could be hiding right under your nose. But before we go full treasure hunt mode, do me a solid, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because we're all about hunting down coins that are worth a lot of dough. Trust me, you don't want to miss out on future videos like this. So, let's get to the heart of it. What's so special about a 1980 no mint Mark Lincoln penny? Isn't a penny just, well, a penny? You toss them in the jar, forget about M, and move on, right? Well, not if you know what to look for. This penny is like the hidden gem of the coin world, and it's not just any old coin. It's got an error that makes it rare, and that rare factor is what makes it worth big. First off, let's talk about the mint mark. If you've ever stared at a penny and wondered what that little D or S means, you're not alone. The mint mark tells you where the coin was made. Most pennies you come across have a mint mark, but in 1980, a small batch of pennies was released without any mint mark. And that, my friend, is what makes these pennies so special. And now, here's the kicker: it's not just any old 1980 penny without a mint mark. The rarity and value come from the fact that these no mint mark pennies are much harder to find than you might think. The US Mint usually marks each penny with a D for Denver or an S for San Francisco, but this batch was released without any mark at all. It's like someone forgot to stamp the name tag at a big party, and now everyone's trying to figure out who the mystery guest is. Coin collectors absolutely love these oddball items. So, what does a 1980 no mint mark Lincoln penny go for in today's market? Drumroll, please. It can fetch up to $1.1 million if you're lucky enough to find one in mint condition. That's right, a penny worth more than most people's cars. And not just any condition either. We're talking about a pristine, uncirculated coin, the kind that looks like it's fresh off the press. I mean, imagine stumbling upon this in your spare change while grabbing a coffee. You'd probably faint right there in line, am I right? Speaking of finding rare coins, let me tell you a funny story from my own life. A few years ago, I was going through a box of old change my grandma had saved over the years. She used to be a serious penny hoarder, and I figured I'd take a quick look at the stuff to see if anything was worth holding on to. I pulled out a couple of pennies, checked the dates, and then almost tossed them in a jar without a second thought. But something made me pause. I took another look, and it turned out one of those pennies was actually a 1943 steel penny, worth a nice chunk of change. Moral of the story: don't ever underestimate the power of a good old-fashioned penny. It can surprise you when you least expect it. Now, while I didn't hit the jackpot like finding a $1.1 million penny, that experience got me hooked on coin hunting. And trust me, the more you learn about coins, the better chance you have of discovering something rare and valuable in your own collection or spare change. So, you might be wondering, how do you know if you've got one of these $1.1 million 1980 no mint mark Lincoln pennies? Well, it comes down to a few key things. First, you need to check the date and make sure it's from 1980. Then, take a close look at the spot where the mint mark should be. If you see nothing, that's your sign that you've got a potential goldmine. The coin will also need to be in great condition, which means no major scratches or discoloration. Condition really is everything when it comes to rare coins. If it's worn out, it's still cool, but it's not going to fetch you a fortune. But here's the fun part: the 1980 no mint mark Lincoln penny isn't the only rare coin floating around out there. There are tons of other coins from different years and mint marks that can have some crazy value, and we're here to help you find them. I mean, who doesn't want to strike it rich with a little bit of old pocket change? So, to wrap things up, don't just toss those pennies in the jar without taking a closer look. You never know when you could be holding onto a $1.1 million coin, just like the 1980 no mint mark Lincoln penny. It's amazing how something so small can hold such big value. So, check your coins, start looking for those hidden treasures, and keep an eye out for those rare finds. And before you go, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We've got more amazing coin tips coming your way, and you'll want to be the first to know about them. Trust me, you'll want to be in the loop when you uncover your next fortune. Hey there, coin lovers! What if I told you that a single penny, one so small and seemingly insignificant, could be worth a whopping $1.2 million? I know, it sounds crazy, but it's true. Today, we're diving into the fascinating world of the 1975 no mint mark Lincoln penny and why it's currently valued at a jaw-dropping $1.2 million. Yep, you heard me right. But don't worry, I'm not pulling your leg here. Stick around and I'll break it all down for you. If you're new here, make sure to hit that subscribe button because you definitely don't want to miss out on future tips about coins that could make you rich. Alright, let's talk about this mighty 1975 no mint mark penny. Now, most of us probably don't give pennies much thought. I mean, who really picks up pennies from the ground anymore, right? But this particular penny, this little guy, is no ordinary coin. In fact, it's one of those rare treasures that collectors go crazy for. The story begins back in 1975. The US Mint, responsible for producing our coins, was dealing with a serious issue: the lack of space at the mint in Philadelphia. So, what do? They ship out a batch of pennies without the mint mark, which is usually placed on coins to indicate which mint made them. Most of the time, coins have a mint mark, like D4 Denver or S4 San Francisco, but not these pennies. A couple of years later, collectors started to notice something strange. A batch of pennies from 1975 had no mint mark on them, and they were super rare. It's like finding a needle in a haystack, except, a lot smaller and shinier. And now, imagine for a second you've got a penny just like this one sitting in your jar of loose change. It looks like the thousands of pennies you've ignored over the years, right? But what you might not know is that one of those pennies could be worth more than your car. Here's where it gets good. You see, when collectors spotted these mintless pennies, they went into full treasure hunting mode. They searched high and low, and the ones in great condition really began to skyrocket in value. Today, a 1975 no mint mark penny in perfect condition could fetch around $1.2 million at auction. That's right, this little penny could be your ticket to riches, assuming you have the right one in the right condition. And just like that, the 1975 no mint mark penny became a collector's dream. But, of course, finding one in mint condition is harder than finding a unicorn wearing a top hat. It has to have that perfect shine, no wear and tear, and just the right amount of originality. You don't want a penny that's been through the ringer. If it's been bounced around in your coin jar for years, well, it might not quite be the moneymaker you were hoping for. But hey, you might have better luck finding one at your local coin shop or even an estate sale. You never know where this treasure might turn up. And now, here's a personal little story. I once went through an entire jar of change, hoping to find a hidden gem, like a rare 1943 copper penny or something. Long story short, I didn't find anything that would make me rich. But I did find a bunch of 1998 pennies that were, for some reason, stuck together. Don't ask me how, I still can't figure that out. It wasn't worth millions, but it did give me a good laugh. Moral of the story? You can't find treasure unless you're looking. So get your hands dirty and start sifting through that change jar. So, what does all of this mean for you? Well, it means you've got to start paying attention to your pennies. No, seriously. We're talking about $1.2 million worth of potential right here. And if you happen to stumble upon a 1975 no mint mark Lincoln penny in good condition, you could be set for life. How crazy is that? Now, before you go diving into your collection, here's a little reminder: keep an eye out for mint marks, check the condition, and remember, not every 1975 penny is $1 million jackpot. But hey, if you've got one of those rare mintless pennies, it could change everything. If you enjoyed this little coin adventure and want more tips on finding valuable coins hidden right in front of you, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Trust me, I've got a ton of insider strategies on how to find coins worth money, and I'm always hunting for the next big one. Who knows, your next penny could be worth more than you ever imagined. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next video, where we'll dive even deeper into the world of valuable coins. Keep those pennies rolling in, folks. Hey, coin collectors and curious folks, imagine you're digging through your loose change and find a penny. Just a penny, right? Well, if that penny happens to be a 1988 D mint mark Lincoln penny, you could be holding onto something worth over $1 million. Yes, you heard that right, a single penny worth more than some cars, vacations, and maybe even a down payment on a house. Stick around, because we're diving into the story behind this rare penny, how much it's worth, and how you can find your very own hidden treasure. Alright, let's talk about this 1988 D Lincoln penny. First, a little bit of context. Most pennies you find in your pocket are worth, well, a penny. But occasionally, a coin comes along that defies logic and expectations. The 1988 D penny is one of those defying logic kind of coins. While it might seem like just another penny, some 1988 D mint mark coins have been known to skyrocket in value to a mind-blowing $1.30 million. Now, before you rush to check your couch cushions or your spare change jar, let's break down exactly what makes this penny so special. The key here is condition and rarity. Most pennies from 1988, even those with the D mint mark, are pretty standard and, well, not worth much more than their face value. However, certain 1988 D pennies were produced with a unique error or feature, something that sets them apart from the rest. So, What exactly makes a 1988 D penny worth over $1 million? It's typically a highly graded example of the coin. We're talking about a coin in mint state condition, with no wear, no discoloration, and no damage. The ones that have been carefully preserved in perfect condition are the ones that collectors will fight over. Here's the kicker: there are only a handful of these perfect 1988 D pennies in circulation. And that's scarcity? Well, it's exactly what drives the price sky high. If you're holding onto one of these rarities, you could be sitting on a small fortune, and let me tell you, finding one of these pennies is about as likely as winning the lottery. But let me share a little personal story to put this into perspective. A few years ago, I was at a garage sale, yes, the kind where people are selling their old junk for pennies, pun intended. I came across a jar full of loose change, and I thought, hey, I might find a cool coin or two. I sifted through it, found a 1969 penny, and thought, well, it's not exactly a golden ticket, but it could still be worth something. I didn't think much of it and stuck it in my collection. Fast forward a few months, I started reading about valuable coins, and suddenly I realized that the 1969 penny I found wasn't just a regular penny, it was a valuable error coin. Of course, it wasn't worth $1 million, but it was definitely worth more than the few cents I paid for it. It's funny how sometimes the best treasures pop up when you least expect it, just like that 1988 D penny might be hiding in your change jar. Okay, so now you're probably wondering, how can I spot a rare 1988 D penny? Here's the thing: you're looking for pristine condition. Mint state coins are practically flawless. So, if you happen to find a 1988 D penny that's sharp, clear, and has no visible damage, you could be holding something special. Here are a few tips to check if your penny is worth a fortune. The design should be crisp, with no wear on Lincoln's face or the lettering. If the design looks worn or faded, it's probably not going to fetch much. A lot of pennies will turn copper colored or have a bit of tarnish over time. The 1988 D pennies that are worth a lot are the ones that have been carefully stored and preserved in the best possible condition. If you think your penny could be valuable, take it to a professional coin grader. They'll assess its condition and give it a grade. Higher grades equals higher value. Just don't try to clean it. Cleaning can actually lower its value. While finding a 1988 D penny worth $1.3 million is a bit of a long shot, the truth is, rare coins are out there, and all it takes is some good luck, a keen eye, and a little patience. Who knows? That jar of pennies you're holding onto could be more than just a handful of copper. It might be your ticket to a small fortune. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the 1988 D penny and want more tips on spotting valuable coins, be sure to hit that subscribe button. I've got tons of strategies coming your way on how to find and profit from rare coins, whether they're pennies, nickels, or beyond. Let me know in the comments if you've ever found a rare coin or if you're currently hunting for one. So, until next time, keep your eyes peeled and your pockets full of possibilities. See you in the next video. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a video. More tips, tricks, and stories on rare coins are coming your way. Trust me, you don't want to miss them. This script uses a friendly, informative tone with some humor to keep the audience engaged. It includes a personal story to make the topic more relatable and actionable, encouraging viewers to subscribe for more tips. Hey, coin collectors! Have you ever found a penny just laying around, thinking, hey, this one's probably just a regular old cent? Well, what if I told you that a simple 1984 D mint Mark Lincoln penny could be worth a jaw-dropping $1.4 million? Yup, you heard me right. This penny might just be sitting in your coin jar, and if you're lucky, it could make you richer than you ever imagined. Stick around, because today we're diving into why this unassuming little coin has such a massive price tag, and trust me, it's more than just luck that makes this penny worth a small fortune. Alright, let's get into the meat of it. So, why is the 1984 D mint Mark penny worth so much? If you're thinking, wait, it's just a penny, how could it possibly be worth that much? Well, that's where things get interesting. First, let's talk about the basics, the 1984 D mint Mark penny. It's your standard copper coin, made in Denver, and it features good ol' Honest Abe on the front. But here's the kicker: not all 1984 D pennies are worth this kind of money. Only those that have a special, rare error make them worth millions. And this particular error has to do with the way the penny was struck. Some of these pennies were struck with double die obverse, which means the front of the penny, where Abe Lincoln's face is, shows multiple images instead of just one. It's like a blurry double exposure of Abe, and that little mistake is what makes it so valuable. And now, if you're wondering how this happened, well, it's actually a bit of a happy accident. Double die errors occur when a coin is struck multiple times, and the images don't line up properly. In the case of the 1984 D penny, the extra strikes caused the lettering in Lincoln's portrait to appear doubled, which is pretty rare now. Imagine walking around with a pocket full of change, and you come across one of these pennies. You might just toss it in a jar, but if you recognize the error, it could be worth a life-changing amount of cash. There are only a few known to exist, and that rarity is what makes them so valuable. Let me tell you a story. I was once at a coin show. It was the classic nerdy dream come true, and I met a guy who said he found a 1984 D penny in his old collection. He didn't even realize what he had until a friend pointed it out. You can guess how quickly he ran to get it appraised. Needless to say, it's stories like that keep coin enthusiasts like me on the lookout for these hidden treasures. So, how do you know if you've got one of these rare 1984 D mint mark pennies in your collection? It all comes down to a little bit of detective work. Here's how you can tell. You'll need to find the 1984 D mint mark penny. If it's from Denver, look closely at the date and the letters Liberty on the front. If they appear doubled, that's your first clue. Pay close attention to the details around Abraham Lincoln's face, particularly the outlines of his hair and the inscription E pluribus unum. If these areas appear doubled or blurry, it's a good indicator that you've got something special. If you think you might have one of these rare coins, take it to a professional to get it graded. This will determine its authenticity and how much it's really worth. A properly graded 1984 D penny with the double die error could fetch around $1.4 million at auction, but that depends on its condition and rarity. Alright, so now you know what to look for. But here's the big question: where do you find these coins? The answer? Anywhere. People have found rare pennies at yard sales, in coin jars, at flea markets, and even in their own pockets. It's all about keeping an eye out for these potential treasures, but here's a little pro tip: don't go raiding every penny jar you come across. While the 1984 D is rare, most of the pennies you find will be worth just a cent, or not much more. So, what I'm saying is, keep your expectations in check, but stay vigilant. You never know when you might find the one coin that could change your life. Alright, so there you have it. The 1984 D mint mark Lincoln penny with the double die error is worth a crazy $1.4 million, and you could be sitting on one right now without even realizing it. But here's the thing: even if you don't find a fortune in your spare change today, learning about these rare coins can be incredibly exciting and rewarding. Plus, you'll never know what hidden gems you might discover in your collection or out there in the world. If you want more tips on how to spot valuable coins and strategies for building your collection, hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you won't want to miss out on the next treasure hunt. And if you found a rare coin or have any stories of your own, leave a comment down below. I'd love to hear about it. Imagine this: you're digging through a jar of old coins you found at a garage sale, or maybe some spare change you've been collecting for years. You stumble upon a penny, a 1980 Lincoln penny. At first glance, it seems like any other penny, right? But then, boom! You check the details and realize it's a 1980 no mint mark Lincoln penny. Suddenly, that little copper coin could be worth a staggering $1.5 million. Sounds too good to be true? Well, hold on to your wallets, because I'm about to tell you why this penny might just be sitting in your collection, ready to make you a fortune. Hey there, coin collectors and curious treasure hunters. Welcome back to the channel where we dig into the hidden gems of the coin world. Today, we're diving deep into the mystery and magic of the 1980 no mint mark Lincoln penny. How did it go from a humble penny to one of the most sought-after coins in the market today? Stick around, because you won't believe the backstory on this one. Alright, let's set the stage. Most of us know what a typical penny looks like: the iconic Lincoln memorial on the back, Abe's face on the front, and the little D, S, or nothing at all to tell you where it was made. But this penny, the 1980 no mint mark, stands out for one very important reason: it has no mint mark. Now, if you've ever collected coins or just spent a few minutes researching them, you'll know that a mint mark is usually a small letter found near the date on a coin. For most pennies, the mint mark is either D for Denver or S for San Francisco. But for the 1980 penny, it was supposed to have a mint mark, except it didn't. This rare missing mint mark created an instant buzz in the world of numismatics, and believe it or not, that tiny detail can now get you up to $1.5 million. And the crazy part? This is not just a one-off case. There are more missing mint mark pennies out there than you'd think. So, why is it worth so much? Well, first off, the minting error was more than just a simple whoopsie-daisy. Back in 1980, the US Mint had a slight mix-up. Some coins were produced without the mint mark by accident, and it turned out to be one of those rare errors that collectors just can't get enough of. Imagine a world where everyone's trying to get their hands on the rarest sneakers, and then here comes a pair that's never been seen before. That's kind of what happened with these pennies. Now, let's talk about the actual value. At first, the 1980 no mint mark pennies were just seen as a quirky little error, but then one popped up at an auction and sold for over $1 million. Since then, the price has gone up to a jaw-dropping $1.5 million, and that's not a typo, $1.5 million. Crazy, right? But wait, before you go digging through your change jar looking for your retirement fund, not every 1980 penny is worth that much. A big part of the value comes from the coin's condition. If you've got a shiny, well-preserved one in mint condition, that's where the magic happens. If your 1980 penny looks like it's been through the washing machine, well, you might want to skip the $1 million dreams part. To really cash in on these bad boys, your penny needs to be in excellent shape. Think like the gold star student of the penny world. And, of course, the rarity factor plays a big part too. If you happen to have a perfectly preserved 1980 penny with no mint mark, congratulations! You've got yourself one of the hottest items in the world of coin collecting. Now, let me share a quick story from my own personal experience. A while ago, I was at a local flea market and spotted this old jar of coins, looked like a mixed bag of change from the 70s, 80s, and 90s. I almost passed it up, thinking there was nothing special in there. But something told me to take a second glance. I dug through the jar, and you won't believe what I found, a 1982 penny that was made out of copper instead of zinc. It wasn't a mint error like the 1980, but still, it made me feel like a coin detective solving a mystery. So, the lesson here? Never underestimate what you might find in your own backyard or attic. So, there you have it. The 1980 no mint mark Lincoln penny is one of the most exciting finds in the coin world right now, with a market value that could leave you richer than a lottery winner. But remember, like any treasure hunt, the key is to know what you're looking for, understand the condition of your coins, and keep your eyes peeled for those rare and valuable specimens. If you've got a 1980 penny lying around, don't just toss it back in your jar. Take a closer look and check it out under good lighting, because who knows, you could be sitting on $1 million coin. Before you go, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell for more coin collecting tips, tricks, and strategies. I've got plenty more stories and insider info to help you dig up the best coins out there. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and drop a comment if you've ever found a coin that made you feel like a millionaire. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. And remember, whether you're hunting for treasure in your spare change or flipping through coin books, keep your eyes wide open because that next rare coin could be worth way more than you think. Hey, coin collectors and penny pinchers. Imagine finding a penny, yes, just a regular penny, worth a whopping $1.6 million. Sounds like a dream, right? But trust me, it's not a dream, it's a reality, and it could be sitting right in your pocket. Today, we're diving into the incredible world of the 2006 no mint mark Lincoln penny, and why this small coin has such a huge value. Stick around because by the end of this video, you'll either be checking your piggy bank or planning your retirement. Let's get into it. Alright, let's break this down. We've all come across those pennies that seem too old to even care about, right? You know, the ones you find in the couch cushions, under the couch, in your junk drawer? You might think, it's just a penny, and toss it aside. But here's the thing, not every penny is just a penny. Some pennies can be worth as much as a new car, or better yet, your dream vacation. And one of those pennies happens to be the 2006 no mint mark Lincoln penny. Well, in 2006, something unusual happened. The US Mint accidentally produced a batch of pennies without the mint mark. Normally, you'll find a little D or S on most pennies, telling you where they were minted, either Denver or San Francisco. But in 2006, there was a small group of pennies that slipped through the cracks without a mint mark, and that tiny mistake has created a big opportunity for collectors. It's like finding an extra fry at the bottom of the McDonald's bag. You weren't expecting it, but it's a total bonus. And these 2006 no mint mark pennies are like that bonus fry. It's something rare that makes collectors lose their minds. Now, before you go digging through every 2006 penny you have at home, let me tell you, most of them are still worth just 1 cent. But if you've got a 2006 penny with no mint mark in mint condition, it could be worth up to $1.6 million. Yes, you heard that right, $1.6 million. That's the current market value for one of these elusive coins. The value really comes down to rarity and demand. The US Mint doesn't make mistakes often, so when one slips through, it's a big deal. This particular penny is rare enough that collectors are willing to pay top dollar to get their hands on one. Think of it like a treasure hunt, only the treasure is a coin that's smaller than a Tic Tac, but worth a lot more. Here's a fun story from my own life to put things in perspective. A couple of years ago, I found a coin from my childhood collection that I had totally forgotten about. It was an old, worn-out nickel, and I thought it was worth maybe a few cents. I tossed it on eBay, not expecting much, and to my surprise, someone bought it for a decent amount. I remember laughing to myself, well, that's one way to pay for dinner. But it was a reminder that sometimes, we overlook little things that hold a lot of value. This 2006 no mint mark penny is a perfect example of that. First things first, if you're lucky enough to own a 2006 no mint mark penny, don't go rushing to your local coin shop just yet. You need to verify the condition of the penny. The higher the grade, meaning the better the condition, the more it's worth. The coin has to be in near perfect shape for collectors to shell out big bucks for it. You should get it professionally graded by an expert, like those at the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, or the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC. They'll examine your penny, assign it a grade, and that will determine its true value. If it's in mint condition, congratulations, you may just have a gold mine in your pocket, but don't just go around saying, "I have one," without getting it checked. Trust me, you don't want to be the person who finds a coin and then ends up with an overinflated idea of its value. Remember, this penny isn't as common as finding a quarter in your change, but it's still important to know the ins and outs before calling it the next big thing. So, to wrap this up, next time you come across a 2006 penny, don't just toss it away. Take a good look at it, especially if it doesn't have that mint mark. You might just be holding onto something that could make you a millionaire. And hey, if you do find one, I'll take you out for a celebratory coffee, or maybe a fancy dinner. If it's really worth $1.6 million, you can buy the coffee. Before you go, make sure you hit that subscribe button and click the notification bell so you don't miss out on more tips and tricks about valuable coins. I've got plenty more where this came from, and who knows? Maybe the next coin worth millions is sitting in your drawer, waiting to be discovered. Hey there, coin collectors and penny enthusiasts. Do you have a penny sitting in your change jar? Well, before you toss it aside, let me tell you, that small, seemingly worthless coin could be sitting on a gold mine now. I know what you're thinking, a penny? Worth $1 million? That's a bit far-fetched, right? Well, let me stop you right there because today, we're diving into one of the most unexpected pennies out there, the 1982 D-Mint Mark Lincoln penny. And guess what? This little guy could be worth a whopping $1.7 million. Yep, you heard that right, $1.7 million. Keep watching to find out how this penny went from just another coin in circulation to a crazy collector's item. Alright, let's break this down. The 1982 D Lincoln penny is already special because of the history surrounding its minting. In 1982, the US Mint switched the composition of pennies from 95% copper to 97.5% zinc. But not all of these 1982 pennies were created equal. You see, the 1982 D-Mint Mark version has been known to contain some unbelievably rare errors that make it worth an insane amount of money today. So, what's the deal with these 1982 D pennies that makes them worth so much? Well, it's all about error coins. In particular, the 1982 D penny was the first year the mint started using zinc instead of copper for the pennies, which led to some interesting manufacturing quirks. Among them was the creation of a double die error. It's a fancy term for when a coin is stamped multiple times, leaving a blurry or doubled image, something that makes a coin really valuable to collectors. Imagine it like this. You know how sometimes you're in a hurry, and your handwriting just looks like a bunch of squiggles? That's sort of what happens with double die errors, everything gets a little blurry, and bam! You've got a rare and valuable coin. But with the 1982 penny, it wasn't just one random error, it's a few different types of errors happening on the same penny. The combination of mistakes on this coin makes it a collector's dream now. Here's where it gets interesting. I've actually had a similar experience with a coin I found in my own change jar. It wasn't a 1982, but it was a penny from the 70s, and I almost tossed it out. But my curiosity got the best of me, and I googled a few things. And lo and behold, I found out that it was actually worth a lot more than just 1 cent. Moral of the story: never underestimate the value of that tiny coin you find at the bottom of your pocket. You just never know, so let's get into the specifics. In 1982, the US Mint produced both copper and zinc pennies, two different compositions. But the key here is that not all 1982 pennies were stamped correctly. If you happen to find one that's got the infamous error, it could fetch you a small fortune at auction. We're talking about prices upwards of $1.7 million if it's in perfect condition. No kidding. Of course, the condition plays a huge part, but still, imagine turning a coin that was worth 1 cent into something worth $1 million. That's the dream, right? Quick fun fact: did you know that the 1982 penny error was so rare, it became one of the most sought-after coins by collectors? In fact, most people still don't even realize they're sitting on a small fortune, so make sure you check your coin jar carefully. Now, not every 1982 penny is going to be worth millions, and don't go running to the bank demanding they check every penny for errors. Trust me, I've tried. But if you're lucky enough to find one of these rare coins with an error, you could be looking at a huge payday. It's like finding a 4-leaf clover, but better. So, before you head off to your next coin hunt, just remember that 1982 mint mark penny you've been ignoring could be more than just spare change. It could be your ticket to a massive collection. Keep your eyes peeled, and you might just find a little treasure hiding in your coin jar. Now, if you enjoyed learning about this penny that's worth a cool $1.7 million, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I've got more coin tips, tricks, and valuable discoveries coming your way. We're going to dive into even more rare coins you may be sitting on right now, and trust me, you don't want to miss it. So, are you ready to turn your pennies into gold? Hit that subscribe button, and I'll catch you in the next video. Hey everyone! Have you ever wondered if that penny you found in your couch cushions could be worth a small fortune? I'm talking about a coin that could easily pay off a nice vacation, or even a new car. I know it sounds crazy, but stick with me, because today, we're diving into one of the most mind-blowing coins out there, the 1978 no-mint mark Lincoln penny. You might want to check your pocket change after this one, because this little copper coin is currently worth a whopping $1.8 million. Yes, you heard that right, a penny, worth more than most people's cars. So, before you roll your eyes and toss your spare change, let's explore the story behind this incredible coin and why it could make you a millionaire, or at least, put you in the rich in knowledge category. Alright, let's get down to the nitty-gritty. First things first, what exactly is a 1978 no-mint mark Lincoln penny? Well, to answer that, we need a little history lesson. Normally, when coins are produced in the US, they have a mint mark that tells you which facility made them. There's the D for Denver, S for San Francisco, and of course, the P for Philadelphia. But here's the kicker: some coins are made without any mint mark at all. That's the case with the 1978 penny we're talking about now. You might be wondering, how on earth does a no-mint mark penny from 1978 become worth $1.8 million? Well, here's where things get interesting. See, this particular coin is part of a very rare group of pennies that were accidentally produced without a mint mark. In 1978, the US Mint, in all its busy coin production, made a mistake, and that mistake turned out to be worth a fortune. It was a huge oversight that's now driving collectors wild. These no-mint mark pennies are incredibly rare, and there's a lot of debate on how many actually exist. Some estimates suggest there may be only a handful, which makes each one more precious than gold, or, those expensive watches people like to flaunt on Instagram. And if you manage to get your hands on one, it could be your ticket to big bucks. So if you're scrounging through your old piggy bank or checking your jar of coins from last summer's road trip, make sure you check those pennies. You could be holding a small treasure, okay, but what makes the 1978 no-mint mark penny so valuable? First of all, it's not just the mistake of the missing mint mark. It's the fact that this error is considered official by collectors and experts. A mint error like this is a big deal in the world of coin collecting. You know how some people get excited about that one rare baseball card or vintage comic book? Well, for coin collectors, finding a 1978 no-mint mark penny is like finding the Holy Grail. And trust me, collectors are willing to drop serious cash to add one of these to their collection, but here's where things get really fun. This coin wasn't just worth a lot in the past. As of now, it's currently valued at $1.8 million. That's not just a good investment, that's a stop what you're doing and check your coin's level of good. Who knew a little copper disc could be worth that much, right? You could retire early or finally buy that island you've always dreamed of, and by island, I mean the one where you keep all your spare change in the shape of a hammock. Now, I'm sure some of you were thinking, okay, but how can I tell if my 1978 penny is worth that much? Great question, my friend. Let's break it down. First, take a good look at the coin. If it's missing the mint mark and it's in great condition, that's your first clue. But here's the tricky part, it's not just any 1978 penny. It has to be from the right batch, hence the rarity factor. A lot of counterfeit or tampered pennies exist, so make sure you get it evaluated by a professional coin appraiser. You don't want to get excited over a fake, right? And, let's be honest, most of us will never find a penny worth $1.8 million. But the cool thing is, there are still tons of other valuable coins out there, and knowing what to look for can set you up for some serious luck. Who knows? You might be sitting on a small fortune without even realizing it. Now, let me tell you a funny story. A few years back, I was at a coin show, just casually browsing through some boxes of pennies. I wasn't really expecting to find anything mind-blowing, just enjoying the experience. So, I'm looking through this one box of random coins when I spot a penny that looked like it had seen better days. It was all scratched up, a little bent, and definitely not shiny. But something about it just stood out, so I picked it up. Turns out, it was a rare 1943 copper penny. I had no idea what I was holding in my hand, but the dealer nearly lost his mind when I showed it to him. Moral of the story? Always trust your gut when it comes to coins, even if they don't look like much at first glance. So there you have it, your ticket to maybe becoming a millionaire. The 1978 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is more than just a coin. It's a piece of history, a collector's dream, and possibly a huge payday for the lucky few who happen to find one. But even if you don't have a 1978 penny sitting around, there are plenty of other rare coins to look out for. And who knows? Your next lucky find might be just around the corner. Before you go rushing off to dig through your coin collection, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you won't miss any more tips on rare coins, valuable finds, and how to spot your own treasure. And hey, if you ever do find that $1 million penny, I want to hear all about it in the comments. Hey there, coin enthusiasts! What if I told you that a simple penny, one that's probably been sitting in your pocket for decades, could be worth over $1 million? Sounds like something straight out of a treasure hunt movie, right? Well, believe it or not, that's exactly the case with the 1973 D-Mint mark Lincoln penny. Yup, this little coin that most people wouldn't think twice about could put you in the millionaire club if you've got the right one. But before you start digging through your spare change, grab a comfy chair because we're diving deep into what makes this penny so valuable, how you can tell if yours is worth a fortune, and some tips on finding rare coins in your own stash. Trust me, you're gonna want to stick around for this one. Okay, let's break it down. The 1973 D-Mint mark Lincoln penny. Now, you might be thinking, a 1973 penny? That's not exactly an ancient artifact. What's so special about it? Well, here's where it gets interesting. The value isn't just about how old a coin is, it's about how rare it is, and how well it's been preserved. Now, most of the 1973 pennies were made in huge numbers, about 2.6 billion of them, to be exact. But, and this is a big but, a few of these pennies came out of the mint with some pretty funky characteristics, and those are the ones you'll want to keep an eye out for. The 1973 D pennies were struck at the Denver Mint, which is where the D Mint mark comes from. But, here's the kicker, only a small fraction of these pennies were struck with a particular kind of flaw or error that makes them stand out from the rest. I'm talking about coins that have things like doubled dies or other unique characteristics that were unintentional mistakes. The rarer the flaw, the higher the price tag. So, what makes this penny worth a whopping $1.1 million? Well, first of all, it's not every 1973 penny that's worth this kind of cash. If your penny is in excellent condition, with very little wear and tear, and if it happens to have one of those rare minting errors, you're looking at a collector's dream. The coin has become a prized find among numismatists, and bidding wars for these types of coins have driven their value into the stratosphere. I'll tell you a quick story from my personal experience. A few years ago, I was at a coin show with a friend, just casually browsing, like the coin nerds we are, and I spotted a 1973 penny. It wasn't even in pristine condition, but I saw something in the way the light reflected off of it. There was a faint shadow on the reverse side that didn't look quite right. My friend, who's a much more seasoned collector, told me it was probably just a surface mark from wear. But hey, I trusted my gut and grabbed it anyway for a couple of bucks. Fast forward to a year later, and I had it appraised. Long story short, it wasn't the $1 million coin, but it did make me realize just how much potential is hiding in these small coins. So, while I didn't hit the jackpot with that one, it's a great reminder that sometimes, treasure doesn't always look like what you expect. And who knows? Maybe your 1973 penny could be that elusive $1 million find. If you're looking to cash in on a coin like this, here are a few things you need to remember. The better the condition, the more it's worth. If your penny looks like it's been through a few too many pockets, it's probably not going to fetch a high price. Coins with clear, sharp details are the ones collectors want. Keep an eye out for things like doubling, where the letters or numbers appear to be doubled, or any other strange markings or shifts in the design. These are the key indicators that set your penny apart from the rest. If you think you've got a gem on your hands, you might want to have it professionally graded. This will not only tell you how valuable your coin is, but it can also boost its price when you decide to sell it. The market for rare coins can fluctuate, so what might be worth $1.1 million today could change tomorrow. Keep up with trends, and if you find a rare coin, don't rush into selling it. Sometimes holding onto it for a few years can pay off. So, to wrap it all up, while a 1973 Lincoln penny may seem like a regular piece of change, it's a reminder that you never know what hidden treasures could be lying around. Whether you've got one sitting in your collection, or you're now inspired to start searching through old coins, remember, one lucky find could make you a fortune. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of valuable pennies, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I've got a lot more tips and tricks to help you uncover rare coins, and who knows, you might just find the next big one worth millions. Catch you in the next video, where we'll dive into even more coin craziness. Hey there, coin enthusiasts! Imagine digging through your spare change, and you pull out a penny that could be worth over $1 million. Sounds like a dream, right? Well, it's not. Today, we're diving into the fascinating world of the 1971 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, and believe it or not, this tiny copper coin has a current market value of around $1.2 million. Yeah, I know, it sounds crazy, but stick around, and I'll explain how something as simple as a penny could change your life. Grab your magnifying glass and let's get into it. First things first, let's set the stage. The 1971 Lincoln penny without a mint mark is a rare gem. You may be wondering, wait, I've got tons of 1971 pennies in my pocket, does that mean they're all worth millions? Well, not exactly. While most 1971 pennies you come across will be worth just 1 cent, the ones with no mint mark, meaning they were minted at the Philadelphia Mint, are the ones that can fetch the big bucks. Now, if you're thinking, but it's just a penny. How did it become so valuable? Good question. Well, the value is in the rarity and the specific circumstances surrounding these coins. You see, in 1971, the U.S. Mint was in full swing producing pennies with mint marks, but there was an oversight, and some coins were struck without them. Since these unmarked pennies were produced in limited numbers, collectors started to notice their scarcity, and over time, the price skyrocketed. That's how a 1971 no-mint mark penny went from a simple coin to a piece of numismatic history, now worth $1.2 million. And now, I know what you're thinking. How do I know if I have one of these pennies? Great question. Here's a trick, look at the coin's reverse side, just below the date. If there's no mint mark there, bingo! You've got yourself a 1971 no mint mark penny, and you could be holding onto a small fortune. I'll give you a hint, if the penny looks shiny and fresh, it's probably not the one you want. The more aged and well-worn a penny is, the more likely it is to be one of these rare finds. Here's the thing though, you're not going to find one of these rare pennies in every jar of change you have lying around. So, what's the best strategy to increase your odds of finding one? Well, a lot of collectors actually turn to coin roll hunting, where you buy rolls of pennies from your bank and go through them one by one, checking for rarities like the 1971 no mint mark. But fair warning, this can be a bit like a treasure hunt. You may not find one every time, but when you do, it's like striking gold. And here's a personal story from my own coin hunting adventures. I once spent an entire afternoon going through hundreds of pennies at a local coin shop. I had my magnifying glass out, my hands all covered in fingerprints, and I was starting to lose hope. Then, out of nowhere, I found an unmarked 1971 penny. My heart raced as I realized it was the real deal. Sure, I didn't make 1.2 million bucks that day, but I sold that penny for a solid amount, and it definitely made the entire hunt worth it. Now, I know what you're thinking again. But is this 1971 no mint mark penny really worth 1.2 million bucks? Well, the value of coins like these depends on several factors. In addition to rarity, condition plays a huge role. A mint condition penny, one that's practically flawless, can push that value even higher. But even if your penny is a bit worn, it can still fetch a pretty penny, pun intended. Keep in mind that the market for rare coins fluctuates, but as of now, the 1971 no mint mark penny can bring in a substantial sum, especially if it's in pristine condition. So, to sum it up, while most pennies are worth, well, a penny, the 1971 no mint mark penny is a rare find that could turn your spare change into a small fortune. And remember, it's not just about finding rare coins, it's about learning the value of the ones you have. It's all about keeping your eyes peeled and never knowing what hidden treasure might be right under your nose. Alright, coin lovers, that wraps up today's journey into the world of the 1971 no mint mark Lincoln penny. Who would have thought something so small could be worth such a big amount, right? Whether you're new to coin collecting or a seasoned pro, the key takeaway here is to always keep your eyes open for those hidden gems. If you haven't started hunting for valuable coins yet, now's the time to begin. And hey, if you found this video helpful, hit that subscribe button because we're just getting started with more tips and strategies on coins worth money. Plus, I've got tons of stories to share about the wild world of coin collecting, and you won't want to miss out. Okay, hold up. I know what you're thinking, a penny? Worth $1.3 million? Is this some kind of joke? Well, folks, buckle up because today we're talking about one of the most mind-blowing coin finds out there, the 1981 no mint mark Lincoln penny. It's like finding a golden ticket in a chocolate bar, but this one's worth a whole lot more than candy. Stick around, because you'll want to hear how this little penny can put a big dent in your wallet. Alright, before we dive into the magic of this penny, let me take you back to when I first found out about it. Picture this, I'm casually browsing through a coin shop, just browsing, when I overhear a conversation about rare pennies. Someone mentions the 1981 no mint mark penny, and I nearly dropped my coffee. You mean to tell me that this little coin, the one I've seen a million times in my pocket, could actually be worth a fortune? That's when I knew we had to talk about it. So, what makes the 1981 no mint mark penny so special? Great question. First, let's break down what a no mint mark penny is. Normally, coins have a little mint mark on them, which tells us where they were made. If you look at a penny, you'll usually find a mint mark like D4 Denver or S4 San Francisco. But in 1981, something weird happened. Some pennies rolled off the press without any mint mark at all. And those pennies? Well, they're rarer than a unicorn in a coin collector's wildest dreams. Now, don't get too excited just yet. Not every 1981 penny is $1 million gem. The key is finding one that is in excellent condition, like it was just freshly minted, with barely a scratch on it. Those are the ones that fetch the big bucks. Here's the kicker, the 1981 no mint mark penny is worth a whopping $1.3 million when it's in mint condition. Now, I know, $1.3 million might sound like the stuff of dreams, but trust me, this is real. The value comes from the rarity and the fact that so few of these pennies were ever made. It's like finding a needle in a haystack, a very shiny, valuable needle. Here's the thing though, it's not just about how rare the penny is. It's about how well it's been preserved. You're not going to find a 1981 no mint mark penny worth $1.3 million in your grandma's coin jar, unless she's been holding onto it since 1981 and decided to keep it pristine. But seriously, if you do find one in great condition, you might be sitting on a small fortune. Okay, now that you know how special these pennies are, let's talk about grading. You've got to check the condition of your penny. The higher the grade, the more money it could fetch. A mint state penny, that's a penny that looks like it just came out of the mint, could be worth the big bucks. So, if you find one of these in your pocket change, don't just toss it aside. Take a moment, inspect it, and see if it's worth more than your lunch. And if you're like me, you might get a little too excited and start looking at every penny you own with a magnifying glass, which, honestly, is a bit overboard, but hey, a penny's a penny, right? But seriously, if you happen to find one of these 1981 no-mint mark pennies in near-perfect condition, consider yourself lucky. You could be holding onto a small piece of history. So, what's the takeaway here? The 1981 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is one of those rare finds that can really make you rethink what's sitting in your pocket change. It's a reminder that sometimes, the smallest things, like a tiny penny, can have the biggest value. And let's be real, $1.3 million for a penny? That's a pretty sweet deal. Now, before you run off to check your penny jar, let's make sure you don't miss out on more tips like this. If you want to learn more about rare coins, valuable pennies, and tips on how to turn your pocket change into something worthwhile, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you don't want to miss the next video. Who knows what kind of treasure you could find next. And hey, if you ever find a 1981 no-mint mark penny, you better send me a picture. I'll be over here, still hoping to find one myself. Hey, fellow coin enthusiasts. Have you ever looked at a penny and thought, this little thing could make me a fortune? No? Well, you should. Today, we're diving into the world of the 1966 no-mint mark Lincoln penny. You won't believe the value of this little copper treasure. Spoiler alert, we're talking about a penny worth up to $1.4 million. Yes, you heard that right, $1.4 million. But how did it get so valuable? Stick around because we're going to uncover why this penny is the one you might want to double-check in your jar of loose change. Alright, let's set the scene. Picture this, you're sitting at home, maybe watching Netflix or digging through a pile of pennies because, let's face it, pennies are like the socks of the coin world, they seem to multiply, but you never really know where they all come from. As you sift through the pile, you spot a 1966 penny. It doesn't have a mint mark, and you think, that's kinda weird. You set it aside, thinking it's just another old penny. But hold on. What if I told you that this could be one of the rarest, most valuable pennies in circulation today? Sounds crazy, right? But it's true. So, here's why this penny is so special. In 1966, the US Mint produced Lincoln pennies without a mint mark. Normally, the mint mark tells you where a coin was made, Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco. But in 1966, a few of these pennies were struck in Philadelphia, but they were missing the usual D or S mint marks. These little anomalies, due to a mix-up in production, became incredibly rare and people are willing to pay a lot for them now. Now, let me tell you something about how I got into collecting coins. It all started with my grandmother. She used to keep a jar of pennies by her kitchen sink, and every time I'd visit, she'd let me pick a few to add to my own collection. Most of them were the standard, run-of-the-mill pennies. I didn't think much of them at the time. Fast forward to a few years ago, I was doing some research on rare coins, as one does, and I found out that my grandma's jar had a 1966 no-mint mark penny just sitting there, unnoticed. Imagine my shock when I realized the value of it, but don't get too excited yet. Just because it's a 1966 no-mint mark penny doesn't automatically mean it's worth $1.4 million. There are several factors that influence its value. First off, the condition of the penny matters. If it's been passed around in pocket change for decades, it might not be worth a fortune. The more pristine it is, the more valuable it becomes. A well-preserved penny, one with little to no wear, could fetch up to $1.4 million, especially if it's graded highly by a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. But a penny in average condition might only be worth a few $100s, so the key is finding one in good shape, but don't panic if your penny has a bit of wear and tear. Even a less-than-perfect 1966 no-mint mark penny could still make you a nice chunk of change, literally. I'm talking about several $1,000s, depending on how well it's been preserved. And now, let's talk about why this coin is worth so much. Back in the 1960s, the the US Mint was pumping out millions of pennies. So, a regular 1966 penny with a mint mark isn't worth much. But the no mint mark variety? That's where the rarity comes in. And rarity, my friends, is the name of the game when it comes to valuable coins. The fewer there are, the more people are willing to pay for them, and get this, collectors are obsessed with these rare pennies. It's kind of like how people get so excited over limited edition sneakers or rare comic books. There's just something about owning a piece of history that's hard to find. And when that history includes a mistake by the US Mint, well, it makes the coin even more desirable. So, let's say you find a 1966 no mint mark penny in decent condition. You get it appraised, and it turns out it could be worth thousands, maybe even hundreds of thousands, depending on the grade. If it's in pristine condition, you're looking at $1.4 million at auction. Yes, you could buy a nice house or a shiny new car with that kind of money. But for now, let's all just dream about finding that one perfect penny in a junk drawer. Alright, coin hunters, here's the deal. If you have a 1966 penny with no mint mark lying around somewhere, don't just toss it back into the jar. Take a closer look, check the condition, and consider getting it appraised. You never know, it could be worth far more than you think. Before you head off to check your change jar, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Seriously, you don't want to miss out on more tips like this. I've got tons of content coming your way on coins worth money, coin hunting strategies, and how to spot those rare treasures hiding in your spare change. And if you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up. It really helps me out. I'll leave you with this: the world of rare coins is full of surprises. And who knows? Maybe the next $1 million find is in your pocket, just waiting to be discovered. Hey, coin lovers! Have you ever found a penny that made you do a double take? You know, that moment when you stare at a coin and wonder if it's worth something, or if it's just another dusty old piece of metal? Well, hold on to your magnifying glasses, because today we're diving deep into a penny that could be worth a small fortune, the 1971 S Mint Mark Lincoln penny. And now, you might be thinking, a 1971 penny? Seriously? But trust me, this isn't just any regular penny. This little guy is worth up to $1.5 million. Yeah, you heard that right, $1.5 million for a penny. It sounds like a wild lottery win, but it's real. So grab your piggy banks, check your coin jars, and let's dive into why this coin is making waves in the numismatic world. Alright, so let's break it down. First off, if you're not familiar with the 1971 S Mint Mark Lincoln penny, let's get you up to speed. The S in the mint mark stands for San Francisco, which is where this penny was produced. It's part of the Lincoln Memorial Series, which ran from 1959 to 2008, and this particular year is one that coin collectors are always on the lookout for. But here's the thing, not all 1971 S pennies are worth a fortune. It's the ones with the right conditions and features that really stand out. We're talking about uncirculated coins with sharp details and minimal wear. These are the ones that fetch the jaw-dropping $1.5 million price tag at auctions. And now, why is this penny so valuable? It's all about rarity and demand. You see, some pennies from this year were minted with a small mistake or anomaly. In the world of coin collecting, mistakes are like gold, well, more like silver and copper in this case. These error coins can be super valuable if they have the right characteristics. And when you find a coin that's both rare and in excellent condition, you're looking at a treasure. Let me tell you a little story to make this more relatable. A few years ago, I was cleaning out my grandmother's attic, you know, the one with all the boxes of old junk you swear you'll get to someday, and I came across a tin can of loose change. It was one of those things you throw in the corner and forget about, right? Well, I started sorting through it, and guess what? I found a 1971 penny with an S Mint mark. Now, I didn't think it was anything special at first. It was just a penny, or so I thought. Long story short, I did a little research, found out about its potential value, and got it appraised. Turns out it wasn't the $1 million penny I dreamed of. Bummer, I know, but it was worth way more than face value. That moment got me hooked on coin collecting and really opened my eyes to the fact that you never know what treasures you have hiding in your pockets or at the bottom of your drawer. So, if you've got a 1971 S penny, it's worth taking a closer look. You want to check for those key factors like the mint mark being clear, the condition of the coin, and if there are any errors. It's like playing detective, except your reward isn't a badge, but potentially a huge payday. Now, I know what you're probably thinking. How do I know if I've got $1 million penny in my collection? Well, it's all about doing your research, checking the condition, and maybe even getting an expert's opinion. If you find one of these rare gems, you could be looking at a serious return on your investment, but hey, even if you don't have a 1971 penny worth $1.5 million, don't give up. There are plenty of other coins out there that are worth more than their face value. So, keep your eyes peeled, keep collecting, and keep learning. The world of coins is full of surprises, and who knows? Maybe the next big find is sitting in your spare change jar right now. If you enjoyed this video and want more tips, tricks, and coin secrets, make sure to hit that subscribe button. You won't want to miss out on the next treasure hunt. And hey, if you've got a 1971 penny, or any other rare coin, drop a comment below and let me know. Maybe you're sitting on a fortune. Hey there, fellow coin enthusiasts. Imagine finding a penny in your couch cushions, or maybe you spot one while you're out for a walk. You pick it up, give it a little glance, and then toss it aside because, hey, it's just a penny, right? But what if I told you that some pennies are worth a whole lot more than their weight in copper, like the 1979 no-mint mark Lincoln penny? Yeah, I know what you're thinking, a penny from 1979? What's so special about that? Well, let me tell you, this little guy could be worth a jaw-dropping $1.6 million. Stick around because I'm about to take you on a wild ride through the world of rare pennies, explain why the 1979 no-mint mark penny is so valuable, and share a funny story about how I almost missed out on a huge coin find myself. So grab your magnifying glass, because this one's going to be worth your while. Alright, first things first. The 1979 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is not your average, run-of-the-mill penny. To really understand why it's worth such a hefty price tag, let's break it down now. In 1979, the US Mint made a whole bunch of pennies, but here's the kicker, they made some with no mint mark. And that's what makes these pennies so special. Most coins will have a mint mark, the tiny little letter, either a D for Denver, S for San Francisco, or sometimes none at all, that tells you where the coin was made. But a penny with no mint mark from 1979 is like the hidden gem of the coin world. It's rare, it's special, and it can fetch a ridiculous amount of money if it's in mint condition. Now, you're probably wondering, what makes this penny worth $1.6 million? Well, it's all about rarity, condition, and the power of collectors. You see, these 1979 no-mint mark pennies are so rare that finding one in good condition is like finding a unicorn wearing a top hat. Seriously, the number of these pennies that survived in near-perfect condition is minuscule. Coin collectors go crazy for pennies like this, and it can drive the price up into the millions, but here's the kicker, it's not just any 1979 no-mint mark penny that's worth this kind of money. It's the ones in mint state, especially those with the double die obverse error. This error happened when the die used to strike the coins got misaligned, leading to a doubling effect on the date and the lettering. If you find one of those, you might want to sit down before you check the price tag. Now, let me share a little story with you. A couple of years ago, I was cleaning out my old coin collection, which mostly consisted of coins I thought were worth pocket change, literally, when I stumbled across an old penny from 1979. I thought, hey, this could be cool to keep. After all, it was a piece of history, right? But I didn't think much of it. Fast forward a few months later, I'm doing a little research on rare pennies, and bam. I see the 1979 no-mint mark penny listed as worth up to $1.6 million. My jaw hit the floor, and I almost spilled my coffee everywhere. I rushed to check my penny, heart pounding, only to realize it was a D-mint mark one. Still, that moment taught me a valuable lesson, always check your pennies, because you never know when one will make you a millionaire. So, what can we learn from all this? A 1979 no-mint mark penny is a serious gold mine, well, copper mine, if you come across one in mint condition. And don't just take my word for it, check your change, look through your old coins, and who knows, you might just have a small fortune sitting in your pocket. Before I wrap up, here's my advice, the next time you find a penny, don't just toss it aside. Take a closer look, maybe even dust off that magnifying glass, and check for those little signs of rarity. And if you ever find a 1979 no-mint mark penny, I suggest holding onto it tight, because you could be holding onto something worth $1.60 million. If you enjoyed this video and want to stay in the loop on more coin tips and tricks, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you don't want to miss out on all the other coins worth big money. And hey, if you find a hidden treasure yourself, come back and tell me all about it in the comments. I love hearing your stories. Hey everyone! Did you ever imagine that a penny could be worth more than 100 times what you might spend on a cup of coffee? Well, guess what? Some pennies can be worth millions. Today, we're diving into the fascinating world of the 1952 US Mint Mark Lincoln penny, a coin that could have you staring at your change jar in disbelief. But don't worry, I'm not going to make you hunt for it in your couch cushions. I'll break down the details so you'll know exactly what to look for. And who knows, you might have one of these shiny little gems hidden in plain sight. Alright, let's get into the nitty-gritty. The 1952 US Mint Mark Lincoln penny. If you've never heard of it before, let me tell you, you're not alone. I remember a couple of years ago, I was scrolling through an auction site and thought to myself, what's so special about a 1952 penny? Then I saw it. The price. My jaw literally hit the floor. A mint condition 1952 US penny has sold for as much as $1.7 million. That's right, million with an M. And before you say, nah, that's just some crazy online rumor, I can assure you, it's true. And now, the big question is, why? What makes this coin so special that it could land you a fortune? It all boils down to a few key factors: rarity, condition, and a little bit of luck. In 1952, the U.S. Mint produced Lincoln pennies at 3 different locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The 1952 U.S. Mint Mark penny, which comes from the San Francisco Mint, is particularly rare, especially in excellent condition. Here's where things get interesting. The 1952 U.S. penny was minted in much lower numbers compared to its counterparts. So, if you're lucky enough to come across one in mint condition, it's highly sought after by collectors. The better the condition, the higher the value. A well-preserved penny, with no scratches, discoloration, or any signs of wear, can be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. But that pristine, near-perfect example? $1.7 million. Yes, it sounds like a lottery win, but it happens. You might be thinking, okay, but what are the chances I'll find one in my pocket change? Well, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Pun intended. The truth is, most 1952 US pennies that are still out there are probably in average to poor condition. But it doesn't hurt to check. I actually went through my own coin jar last year just to see if I had anything of value. And guess what? I found a 1944 wheat penny, which isn't quite $1 million coin, but it was still cool to find. Here's a little pro tip for you: when you're searching, look for coins with sharp details, vibrant color, and minimal wear. If the penny looks like it's been used to scrape gum off a sidewalk, then it's probably not worth much. But if it's shiny and pristine, well, that's your jackpot. Also, look out for any special features like off-center strikes or unusual die cracks. Coins with these imperfections often carry extra value because they are considered errors, and collectors love them for their uniqueness. So, in summary, the 1952 US Mint Mark Lincoln penny is a rare and valuable coin, with specimens in mint condition fetching upwards of $1.7 million. It's an exciting example of how something as humble as a penny can pack a serious punch in the world of coin collecting, and who knows? Maybe you've got one hidden away somewhere right now. Maybe you'll be the next person to cash in on a small coin with a big reward. Wouldn't that be something? Before you rush off to dig through your coin collection, do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button and turn on the notifications so you don't miss out on future videos about coins worth money. I'm always hunting for the next big thing in the coin world, and I'll keep you in the loop with tips and strategies for finding valuable coins, just like this one. Trust me, with a little know-how and some luck, you might just find a treasure in your pocket change. And hey, if you ever come across a 1952 US penny worth millions, don't forget to give me a shout out. Hey there, fellow coin enthusiasts. Imagine you're at a flea market, strolling through a pile of pennies, and you come across a 1992 D Mint Mark Lincoln penny. You think, hey, it's just a penny, right? No big deal. But, hold on, this penny is a secret millionaire in disguise. Sounds like a stretch? Well, buckle up, because in the next few minutes, I'm going to tell you why that 1992 D could be worth a whopping $1.8 million. Yep, you heard that right, $1 million, for a coin that's just sitting in your jar of spare change. Now, you're probably thinking, is this guy serious? A penny that valuable? Well, stick around, because this isn't your ordinary coin chat. We're diving into the fascinating world of rare pennies, and trust me, it's more exciting than finding out your childhood toys are now worth a fortune. But first, hit that subscribe button, because if you want more tips on how to turn your everyday coins into cash, you won't want to miss out on what's coming next. Alright, let's get into it. Now, let's talk about this legendary 1992 D-Mint Mark Lincoln penny. It's a humble coin that was minted in Denver, and like most pennies, it looks pretty standard. It features the iconic Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, and Abraham Lincoln himself on the obverse. But here's where things get interesting. It's not just any 1992 penny, this one, in particular, has a unique characteristic that could potentially send it to the moon in value. To give you some background, in 1992, the US Mint released over 6 billion pennies. That's a lot of pennies, right? So, why on earth would one of them be worth millions? Here's the thing, the 1992 D Lincoln penny is incredibly rare in mint condition, meaning it's practically flawless. If you come across a 1992 D penny with no wear and tear, no scratches, no discoloration, it's one of the lucky few that survived 30 years without being thrown into a vending machine, stuck under a couch cushion, or dropped into a muddy puddle. And that rare, perfect condition is what makes it valuable, but that's not all. In 1992, something happened that made the D-Mint Mark penny even more interesting, a mistake during the minting process. A number of these pennies were produced with an error, what's known as a close AM variety. The letters A and M in America on the reverse side are closer together than they should be. This small error can significantly boost the coin's value, because collectors love these little quirks. It's the coin equivalent of finding a rare Pokemon card in your cereal box. If you get your hands on one of these 1992 D close AM pennies in mint condition, you could be looking at a value of $1.8 million. Yes, I'm not kidding. While most 1992 pennies are only worth 1 cent, that close AM variety is the holy grail. And here's the kicker, these coins are extremely hard to find, and even harder to get in pristine condition. So if you spot one, you've got yourself a potential jackpot now. You might be asking, how the heck do I even know if I've got a close AM variety? Great question. Well, it's pretty simple once you know what to look for. Flip your penny over, and focus on the letters in America on the reverse. If the A and M are close together, like they're in a little coin hug, congratulations. You've found the error. If there's space between the letters, it's a regular old penny, and unfortunately, not worth a small fortune. But don't get discouraged, there are plenty of other coins worth checking out that could have their own hidden value. And you know, this whole thing reminds me of a time when I found a coin that looked exactly like a rare one I had read about online. I was so pumped, thinking I had struck gold. I even took it to a local coin dealer for confirmation. After a few minutes of him inspecting it, he smiled and handed it back, saying, "Nice try, but this one's not the one you're looking for." It wasn't the end of the world, but let me tell you, there's no feeling like the excitement of thinking you've found something worth a ton of money, only for it to turn out to be just another shiny penny. Lesson learned. But that's the fun of collecting. It's all about learning, discovering, and sometimes, a little disappointment. But the thrill is totally worth it. Alright, so there you have it, the 1992 D-Mint Mark Lincoln penny, a coin that could be worth $1.8 million if it's in perfect condition and features that close AM error. Who would have thought, right? So, before you toss your pennies into the jar, double-check them. It could just be the start of your very own treasure hunt. If you enjoyed learning about this hidden gem, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you won't miss any of my future videos. Who knows? The next penny you find could be worth more than you ever imagined.